What up? Let's talk about Ben Simmons again because it seems like there's always something going on with Ben Simmons, and I need to talk about this because this is important for me. But Ben Simmons, as you all probably know at this point, has had a catastrophic downfall from where he was originally when he entered the league. Entered the league as the number one pick in the 2016 NBA draft, and basically came into the league being, the next LeBron, as some might have called him. And he has gone so downhill since he left Philadelphia, which frankly was something that he orchestrated. So I can't necessarily feel too bad for him at this point. Injuries aside, he forced his way out of Philadelphia. So, but the point that brought me to thinking about this on this morning, and I don't know when you guys are listening to this, so good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are, whatever time you're listening. But Chris Brickley, who is a phenomenal NBA trainer, he has videos of him training so many different players in the NBA, from LeBron to Carmelo Anthony, you name it, so many over the years. And recently, Ben Simmons has been training with Chris Brickley, and Chris Brickley was saying that Ben Simmons has returned to his all-star form. So, Chris, I'm just going to say it. There's no f***ing way that is the case. There's no way. And the reason I say this is because every single year, every single offseason, we see these videos of Ben Simmons working out in the summer, draining threes, yamming on people, making crazy passes, doing everything. He's playing like he's better than Magic Johnson and LeBron James combined out there. And every time he comes into the season and he doesn't play as much as he should, and he doesn't have that level of production. So I'm not going to be the one that's putting money on Ben Simmons to be an all-star this year. It's not going to be me. And, with the law of averages, yeah, he's probably bound to have a decent season at some point. And this is a contract year. So if he really doesn't play well, he's not going to be in the league next year. That's my personal opinion, because this downfall has been insane. And I think a lot of times when a number one overall pick has this type of downfall, or even if you're a lottery pick in general, and you go from being a three-time All-Star to being someone who barely gets in the game, there's going to be a swarm of media attention that follows you regardless, because this is a story that people are going to read about, because so many people idolized and loved Ben Simmons' game. And now it's like, where has that gone, right? And I'm one of those people where it's like, I really thought Ben Simmons was going to be like the new face of the league. Like, he was going to be the next LeBron James minus, the offensive component, right? Like, LeBron has a much better shot, mid-range, three-point, free throws, all that. Ben Simmons probably was never going to be that complete offensive package. But to see a guy who's 6'10", 6'11", built and super athletic, being able to run the point and pass the way that he does and rebound the ball the way that he does, there really is no other player in the league like it. And, it's a shame. It's a real shame. But I just don't understand. I don't understand why Chris Brickley is saying this. Like, I'm honestly like, does he even believe that, right? Because I don't think Ben Simmons believes it. I think the biggest issue that Ben Simmons has had is confidence, and he's cited a lot of, mental health, struggles and things like that, and I understand that. When you're a public figure and you're a star on the biggest stage, it's very hard when you're a young person to really block that out. It takes years of experience, and I'm hoping that now, since he's kind of been through it, the attention has in some ways reduced a little bit, because this is now the second year where he's severely underperformed. Maybe he'll have the opportunity to kind of just tune it out and do what he needs to do to really make a point and prove that he's not, a bust. Because if he doesn't if he doesn't come back and play well this year, like I really think he might not wind up in the league for much longer. And it's sad, It's very sad. Like the guy has, career highs in points. 42 points is his career high. Career high in rebounds, 22 rebounds. Career high in assists, 17. Career high in steals, 7. Career high in blocks, 4. Like the guy is so versatile, and he has 33 triple doubles in his career. It's just like there's gotta be something that we don't know about that's going on, because I don't understand it. He's going to make $40 million this year. And another interesting point was, after Woj kind of stepped down from his post at ESPN earlier this week, there was a guy, Aaron Rosenberg, who tweeted out that Ben Simmons was getting traded to the Golden State Warriors, which I believe at this point has been debunked and is not actually factual. But I do think that's also a possibility, that we see Ben Simmons get traded. And more likely than not, I think if he gets traded, it's not going to be for the reason that someone wants Ben Simmons. I think it's because it's going to be a team that wants an expiring contract where they can offload a lot of their players to get one player that has a much larger salary. But we'll see what happens. But, Ben Simmons just recently got cleared as well to be a full participant in the Nets training camp. So, my advice to Ben would be, tune everything out. Tune all the noise out. Focus on basketball. Don't worry if you're missing free throws or you're not a good three-point shooter or whatever. Play to your strengths, because that's really what the NBA is all about. There are very, very few players in NBA history that are good at everything, let alone players in the league now that are good at everything. So many players focus on what can I do well to help the team. And a lot of those players that have specific niches where they fit into a specific skill set that a team needs, those guys can still start. They can still be prominent players that are playing tons of minutes in the league. You don't have to be LeBron James to be a starter in the NBA. So I think Ben Simmons needs to embrace the role that he can play, be confident, because it's not like he is useless on the basketball court. He has a lot of good qualities. I just think the mental portion of his game has just been non-existent, and he has no confidence. And I do believe that he is hurt on some level. I think now, obviously, he's been cleared, so that shouldn't be a problem anymore. But I think in the past, he certainly has been dealing with injuries. It's not easy to deal with a back injury, especially as a basketball player who's highly athletic and needs to be mobile to play the game how he plays it. But, come on. He's got to turn it around. He's got to turn around. And I think even if he does turn around, maybe that improves his trade value. I think the Nets are kind of going in a direction where they want to, kind of rebuild and, focus on their young players. Ben Simmons, frankly, isn't that old. I think he's 27 or 28. But, whether or not he plays well, that might not necessarily impact if he gets traded or not. I think regardless, he will probably be traded. But, we'll see what happens. But let me know what you guys think. I really am interested to know what you guys think about this situation. It's been going on for a while now. He just, this past season was his second year in Brooklyn. He only played 15 games. What do you guys see him doing next year? Do you see him being an important part of the team? Do you see him, putting up, better numbers, having better production, and kind of making his way to getting back to where he was, or at least closer to what he was? Let me know in the comments. Ben Simmons is one of my, not right now, but he was one of my favorite players. I loved watching him at LSU, and it's just sad. And I really hope that he gets back to being the player that he was. And, I'm rooting for him. As much as he has, angered me in the last couple of years in the holdout situation in Philly, I do want him to get back to where he was and, have a happier mindset, because I feel like throughout all of this he really hasn't been a happy guy. And I just want these players to be happy, love what they do, because it makes it a better experience for the fans. So let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you with the next one. Peace.